Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, here we are for another AFL 2022 match review. Here we are to review Friday night footy, the second semi-final between Melbourne vs Brisbane on Friday night at the MCG. And what a massive game of footy this one was. Of course, the stakes were high. Loser goes home, winner goes on to play the Cats at the MCG next Friday night. And it was a massive game of footy. Now, before the game, we did see that minute of silence for Queen Elizabeth, of course, as she has passed, which was really nice to see that minute of silence. But before we go ahead and start, this was a cracking game of footy. Let's go ahead and hop right into things. Brisbane's MCG hoodoo has officially finished. Brisbane do not have an MCG hoodoo anymore. They beat Melbourne by 13 points. They beat them at the time it matters. And have a listen to this. Go. So, I can't see why Brisbane can't do what Sydney did last week. And if they do that, they will beat Melbourne. There's the clip. That's exactly what I said last week. If Brisbane do what Sydney did to Melbourne, what they did in that first qualifying final, they will beat Melbourne. They did exactly that, and look what happened. They won. Those words were the true wise words that I said, and I was like, look, if Brisbane do what Sydney did last week to Melbourne, there's no reason why they can't win the game. And that was past me predicting the future perfectly, because that's exactly what they did. If they played to what Sydney did last week, that's the way you beat Melbourne. There is an algorithm. There's a specific algorithm to beat Melbourne. That's how you do it. You can't just kick the ball long down the line, because that's not going to work. They're going to take marks. They're going to intercept May, Gawn, Lever, Petty. We all know they'll take marks down there. But if you can get the ball to ground, you got Cameron, you got Bailey, you got McCluggage, you got Zorko, and even more, Coleman. There's many players in this Brisbane outfit that are good on ground level and that can apply pressure. That is why they won this game by 13 points. Now, in the first quarter, they were horrible. They were absolutely horrible in the first quarter just because they just let Melbourne play to their strengths. Melbourne had free men everywhere. It was like Brisbane hadn't even showed up in that first quarter. And Melbourne's inaccuracy did keep Brisbane in this game. Now, of course, you can see Melbourne's final score 11-13 to Brisbane's 14-8. So Brisbane did make the most of their accuracy and their chances. Meanwhile, Melbourne did not. Now, for the last 5 minutes, though, in that first quarter, Brisbane showed a bit of fight. They showed a bit of hunger. The game just started, even though they didn't hit the scoreboard, they just showed that the game did just start to turn their way. The game did turn their way. In the second quarter, that almost carried on, but again, Melbourne just had a little bit of dominance for the last part of the quarter before Brisbane get one right back on half-time to begin the surge. This is where the surge comes in now, because Brisbane end up kicking 6-2 in the third quarter to keep it right alive, to be even at three-quarter time, and that's massive. 59 apiece three-quarter time, but you can see the difference, 8-11 to 9-5. Melbourne was so inaccurate that they probably should have put this game away by quarter time or even by half-time, because they were just too inaccurate. 8-11 to 9-5. You can see where the chances were being won and lost there. Yes, Melbourne did have way more shots on goal than Brisbane, though. And then the last quarter, Brisbane kicked the first goal. Melbourne are in it, and then Brisbane get out to a 20-point lead. Once they get out to that 20-point lead, it's game over. Melbourne try and kick the next two to come back late, but it's just too little too late by the DEES. And then the last goal gets kicked, which is the nail in the coffin and go, see you later, Melbourne, you're out of here, and we are through to a preliminary final against Geelong. Yes, next week final will be at the MCG, but they do match up pretty well against Geelong to Brisbane, so this is going to be an interesting contest next week. But Melbourne, this is the big talking point. Melbourne are out in straight sets, 79 to 92. Of course, they lose to Brisbane. They're out in straight sets. And the reason why, they lost to two non-Victorian clubs, by the way, for anyone interested, Sydney and Brisbane. But, yeah, there's an algorithm to beat them. We've known this for, 2 weeks now. Well, a day now. Not even a day. We've known this for about 12 hours now, that this is the way to beat Melbourne. There's a specific algorithm, and if you do play this way, you'll beat Melbourne. So, maybe, this is my speculation here, maybe we'll see them slide down the ladder next year. Now, this may not exactly happen, but that may happen. There is an algorithm to beat them, and it just showed the MCG did not play any sort of a part. It's how you play against them, and Brisbane did that perfectly, Sydney did that perfectly, and other sides that have beaten them this year have done that perfectly. That's how you beat Melbourne. Could we see them slide down the ladder? Now, look, from Melbourne, it's a disappointing point of view. They kicked 3 goals to 5 in the last, did Melbourne. But there's not really a lot of positives to take away from this either, because after half-time, they really shut down. They kicked 5 goals to Brisbane, who kicked 9. 5 goals to 9 in that second half alone. So that's disappointing there. Daniel Rich, 30 disposals. He got heaps of the ball. Eric Hipwood, 4 goals. He was everywhere. He was just absolutely everywhere. He may not have got big numbers or anything like that, but just some of the little things he did were massive. And Daniel Rich, 108 fantasy, and I didn't want to go into there. And Oliver, both of the 108 fantasy, and Clayton Oliver, 12 tackles. So now to the player stats will go. AFL fantasy, 108 for Oliver, and Rich, 105 for McCluggage, 101 for Neil, 99 for Coleman, 98 for Gorn, Viney, and Berry. 4 goals for Hipwood, 3 for Cameron. You can see there. Hipwood, he's not bad at ground level. He can get down to ground level, though. And Charlie Cameron, we know how good he is at ground level, and he kicks 3 goals and 3 massive goals. In the end, they combined for 7 to Hipwood and Cameron. Pickett gets 2 goals. So does Neil Bullen, Langdon, McStay, Fritsch, and Bailey. Again, another one that I was talking about, Zach Bailey. We know he does it at ground level. McCluggage, he kicked a big goal as well. Now to disposals. 30 disposals for Rich. 27 for Petrarca, who was, of course, playing sore. So that's his season all done and dusted. There was speculation about whether he'll be playing, in the phrase, next week, if they were to win. But no, he won't be playing next week, and he'll probably just have a rest to try and... Because, of course, we saw the incident that happened with him last week. So maybe it's almost better that his team is out, maybe, perhaps for him. 27 touches for Neil as well, 26 for Berry, 25 for McCluggage, and then, of course, 24 for Langdon. He's his usual self, collecting plenty of the ball on the wing. 10 marks for Jack Payne, 9 for Kadeen Coleman. Coleman, let's just talk about him for a minute, because I feel like he can be a bit underrated in Brisbane's outfit sometimes. He took a couple of really big marks. He ended up taking 9 marks, and he was really big, I reckon, Coleman. I reckon sometimes the work that he does is unnoticed, and he's got a really good kick on him as well. So, yeah, that's a good point for Coleman. 8 for Petty, another underrated Melbourne player. Yes, Melbourne, they're headlined by Petrarca, Gorn, Viney, Langdon, but their defenders, May, Petty, Lever, they do go unnoticed. The defence is where things can start, and Petty, he did lay a couple of big tackles and showed some big examples of what it's like to be a big marker. 8 for Berry as well, 7 for Gardner and Andrews. Now to the tackles. 12 for Oliver, 9 for Viney, 7 for Robertson. Robertson's pretty good at tackling as well. 7 for Neil. We know Neil loves to tackle. 6 for Jackson. That's why teams are keen on him. And his destination will be Fremantle. And that'll be good for the Dockers, I reckon, having a nice big agile ruckman that can tackle, as Luke Jackson showed. 6 for him, 6 for Neil Bullen, and 6 for Andrews. Now the hit-outs, 36 for Gorn, 29 for Fort, 9 for Jackson, 4 for Fullerton, 3 for Brown. But I will tell you now, just before we go to the team stats real quick, which we'll have a look at these in a minute, but Brisbane did look their most dangerous not when they took time and waited to assess an option when there was nothing. When they got the mark, handball, receive, and not spend too much time with the ball in hand, that's when they looked their most dangerous, and they did end up executing that pretty well, hence why they won the game. Now to the team stats we go, though, where... let's see, not really a lot. 55, 53 inside 50s in favour of Melbourne. What else? 48 to 33 hit-outs. Clearances, this is a big number. 51 to 37. We do know Melbourne is so damaging around the clearances, and they did execute that again pretty well in this game. 14 to 11 centre clearances. They did end up patching that up after half-time, though, did Brisbane, after they were down 7 to 2 at half-time, I think. 37 to 26 stoppage clearances in favour of the DEES as well. But again, talk about Coleman back there. And let's see... Marks, 78 to 92 in favour of Brisbane, but contested marks 13 to 7. That's where Melbourne's intercept game can still come along as well. Melbourne did lead for most of the game, 88 minutes to 88 minutes to 30 minutes. But in the end, though, Brisbane, they'd be very happy to run away with this one, because this means a lot for them. We know last year they got knocked out in a semi-final at the Gabba by a point. We know that they looked to be all done in that elimination final, but somehow won, and now they're through to a prelim. Can you believe that? And they're an outside chance to go through the grand final. Don't write off this Brisbane team just yet, because I feel like after this performance, they are capable of getting through that grand final. Now, it's going to be tough because they're going to be matching up on the best side in the competition, the Cats, next week. And they've been the best side in the competition for a little while now. They've been the best side for, 14 games or something, because of their 14-game winning streak. But, not going to lie though, if there was any team that would take out the Cats, it'd be the Lions or the Swans, I reckon. Look, here's just a little spoiler for my tip. I don't think the Lions will take out the Cats, but I feel like they'll give it a red-hot go. This is going to be some sort of form to take into the game. They'll be feeling pretty good after this performance, and they should most certainly be feeling that way, because this is a very good performance. So congratulations to Brisbane, because this is a brilliant performance that they've just put up. So a massive upset. Brisbane, they haven't won at the MCG since 2014, and they win there now. They break the hoodoo. The hoodoo is over. Fresh start at the MCG for Brisbane. Starts now. Collingwood and Fremantle at the MCG tonight. Massive game of footy, this one. 4th versus 5th. And, of course, the winner will be going through to play Sydney at the SCG, which no matter who wins this game, it's a tough task to go over there and play Sydney. I feel like Sydney are through the grand final anyway, just because it's going to be a tough task to do at the SCG. But who knows? It's finals footy. It's a whole different ball game. And, of course, Collingwood versus Fremantle. Could there be an upset tonight? Who knows? 4th versus 5th could really go either way. Should be a epic Saturday night contest. It's the Lions by 13. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys in another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.